Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the mess that was after we collided, because let's get into it. Okay, so I watched After We Collided the other day, last week. Not happy, very disappointed. It was garbage. Sorry, not sorry. Let's start from, we talked a lot of shit about the interviewers focusing mostly on Dylan Sprouse and not Hero and Joe. After watching the movie, I can safely say, or I can say I know why. Dylan was the standout for me, and as I'm reading a lot of mixed fan responses, he was a standout for a lot of people. He was a comedic relief that we didn't know we wanted or needed. His character was very awkward and just it was very Dylan-y. I feel like it was more Dylan than Trevor, because I don't remember Trevor being this awkward in the book, but it definitely brought some comedic relief to the very awkward, tension-filled movie. So yeah, Dylan was my favorite, and now I understand why everyone's focusing on Dylan and giving him all the attention, because he stole the show. He was my favorite, and he kind of made this garbage movie a little bit more better. Let's start with the acting. I don't know what happened between the first one, the first movie, After, and After We Collided, but every single actor in this movie, who has the potential to be good actors, by the way, none of them are really bad actors, but for some reason, between the first film and the second film, everybody got way more intense. And for what reason? What was the reason? Like, everyone is overacting to the point where it's almost cringy and unbelievable, and everything is super dramatic. And watching the trailer, I was like, some of these scenes look kind of cringy, but maybe it's just the way they pieced them together. But it wasn't the way they pieced them together. It's the way the actors were acting it. It's the way the script was written. Everything is just awkward. Everything was over dramatic. I felt like I was watching a Lifetime movie. Joe, who's a pretty decent actress, she's a really good actress. I feel like she got a good script. She would do really well. She overacted. Hero, I love you. I'm starting to think you're a bad actor, because you were probably the worst. You had your moments. You had like 2 moments. I was like, is he a good actor? But for the majority, you were completely overacting. And I was just like, for what? Why? Why is he doing this much? Selma, even her little bit, was overacting. Everybody, Anana, I love you. You're also one of the best parts of the movie, you and Dylan. You overacted. Everybody was just overacting, and I was like, for what? Why is this so dramatic? Like, Landon, why can't I think of his name? The guy that plays Landon. I'm having a brain fart. But the guy that plays Landon, his scenes were so dramatic, and I'm like, what am I watching? Am I watching After We Collided, or am I watching like a bad parody, like an SNL parody of After We Collided? Because everyone's being so dramatic, and I just don't get it. It's not coming off naturally. It's just, this is not the type of movie where you have to be that dramatic for the lines or the scenes to work. So I was really confused why everybody was overacting to the point where it was bad. Number 3. The movie has no plots, which would after the After series kind of really has no plot, but it kind of does, and the books are way more detailed, and of course the books are always going to be more detailed, but this movie was extremely choppy, and it was just scenes pieced together. You could tell this movie was a fan service. They literally took our favorite scenes from the book and just put them in the movie, and it followed no plot line whatsoever. So if you're coming into this after watching the first After, you're really going to be fucking confused, because it makes no sense. It doesn't follow the first After. It really has no plot. It's like Tessa gets a job, Tessa goes to Seattle, Tessa and Hardin have sex, they break up, they have sex, which is in the book, but it's more detailed to where it makes a little bit of sense in the book. It makes no sense in the movie. It was so choppy and all over the place. I was like, oh, she's in Seattle already. Oh, her and Hardin are back together. Oh, they're having sex. Oh, the mom's here. Oh, like, it was just like, when Tessa went home for Christmas, which is way more detailed in the book, by the way, where she actually sat down and had a talk with her mom, that was shortened to like a minute clip of her talking to, what's the guy's name? the boyfriend, the old, I don't feel like looking up, the old boyfriend, that whole, like, I feel like that was like almost like a whole chapter in a book. It was shortened to a minute, which I understand all the chapters and every detail cannot be in the movie. But if you're going to take important scenes from the book to put in the movie, do them right. That whole chapter, or half a chapter, was shortened to a minute of her talking to the old boyfriend, and then the mom calls, spoiler, but you've read the book. The mom calls and Carol calls, and he's like, oh, she knows. And she's like, oh my God. And it's overacting, again, like very dramatic. And then she goes back to Hardin. That doesn't happen in the book. So that scene was disappointing. Selma's sick, so I guess they did what they could. But, I mean, she probably shouldn't have been in the movie at all because her scene was pointless. The ex-boyfriend being in that little 1-minute scene was pointless. Noah, that's his name, Noah. He was overacting, and he's a decent actor. Everybody's just overacting. That really bugged me because I was mad I wasted my money to rent this movie. I'm not buying it, by the way, because it was just so bad. The sex scenes were awkward as fuck. Sorry, Hero and Joe, I love you guys. Yeah. It's like we wanted rated R. We wanted the sex scenes. We wanted our favorite scenes from the book, and they gave it to us, and it's all choppy, and the scenes don't make sense. The movie doesn't flow. The sex scenes are awkward. I don't know. Hero got some lines. I don't know if it really made a difference to him in the first movie because he had no lines, but I feel like he was a way better actor in the first one than he was in this one. Sorry. His whole nightmare scene, I laughed at. Sorry. Every time he said fuck, I laughed. When Tessa said fuck, I laughed. So it wasn't rolling off the tongue. It wasn't effortlessly. It wasn't believable. It wasn't natural. All the F-bombs they dropped in this movie were just so unnecessary. They had an R rating, so they could go there, but they kind of went in the opposite direction, so it wasn't good. The only stable acting moment Hero had was with his dad. That was one of the only moments where I was like, oh, he can kind of act, where it kind of peeked through. But other than that, Hero did not. I don't want to say he didn't do a good job because maybe it's the script, but it just was not flowing. It just wasn't working for Hero. And Joe working off of that, she was not good at all. I think it was the lines. I think it was the script. I think it was just the dialogue, the whole setup. It was just rushed to put out, and they just picked random scenes from the book for fan service, so none of it flowed, none of it made sense. Very disappointed because I feel like they could have did so much and they could have took their time, but they rushed it, and it just wasn't great. I have no idea. I had smashing box offices overseas, maybe because people were just so excited to see it because it wasn't good. And now I feel like we owe Jenny, Roger, I'm sorry, because Cruel Intentions is that movie. But now I feel like we owe Jenny an apology. Because the first After, I'm starting to think the After was a lot better than After We Collided. Even though it was a different story, it wasn't Hardin and Tessa, it was a lot better than After We Collided. Maybe she knew what the fuck she was doing because After We Collided was garbage. So disappointing. The fight between Molly and Tessa was funny. It actually was funny. Anana did what she could. I take that back. She wasn't overacting. She did what she could. Her scenes were good. Her scenes and Trevor's scenes were my favorite. The fight was funny. When Tessa was being carried upstairs and she was like, fuck you. Like, that was funny. That was cute. And then her and Hardin making out and then they rolled off the bed. That was cute as well. The sex scene was awkward though, but I'm really let down. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, so I finally see how these books really made no sense and there's just like a whole bunch of sex and fighting. But I didn't like it, and I'm really mad that I spent my money on it. And the first After was a lot better. After We Collided was not great. It didn't have any good moments besides Anana and Trevor, or besides Anana and Dylan, Trevor, Molly. Hero and Joe, I'm not excited for the next two movies. I don't even think I'm going to watch them. I kind of want the actors just to get out of this franchise because it's not doing them any favors. I feel like this is a really negative review. Everybody looked good. Hero looked great. I like Joe's hair. Anana looks amazing. Dylan, I prefer Dylan with longer hair, but he looked good in his suits. Vance and Kim, they didn't really have any lines. There's no substance to them, so I can't even really give them any type of like reaction. Kim was watered down from what she was in the book. In the book, she's like sassy and funny, and she's like Tessa's like new best friend. And in the book, she's just like there. Which Candace, if you would have gave Candace some lines, she would have delivered the shit out of those. Vance. Sorry, I just spaced out. Vance, I felt like was another character. If you gave him some lines, he would have acted the shit out of him. But he was given so little, so he did what he could. But I have no like reaction to his character because Smith, who had one of the cutest interactions, and he starts to be a very important part of Hardin and Tessa's story because he ends up being, spoiler alert, Hardin's little brother. His lines were just like, he had like 2 lines. And I'm just like, so we're just taking important characters from the book and scenes and we're shortening them and making them not important because he turns out to be a very important little character. And it was just, I don't know. I'm not even upload this because this just seems so negative, but I didn't like it and I'm very disappointed. And if you watch my previous video, I was so excited about it. I was like, Roger's going to do this shit. They've made a lot of changes. It's been messy, but I'm really excited to see it. And I've seen it, and now I'm unexcited that I saw it. I don't know. Everybody looks good. And I think we owe Jenny an apology, and After was better than After We Collided. As always, like, comment, subscribe. I'm sorry this review was very negative, but I'm a very honest peach. Afternooners, you have to be honest with yourself that this movie was not good. There's some good moments, I agree. And they're very few, very tiny, but there's some good moments. But it just wasn't good, and I kind of feel like it was the script. And so Anna probably shouldn't have written it, and that's probably why she got fired. Sorry, not sorry. The books are a lot better, but of course the books are always better. What do you guys think? We can talk about it as long as you're respectful of my opinion. This is my opinion. And it seems to be the kind of the general opinion of the After fandom. And if you're not in the fandom, you're probably still going to hate it anyway because you're like, this makes no sense for the first movie. Sorry. Like, comment, subscribe. There probably won't be any more After videos because I'm pretty much over it. I was disappointed in the first one, but I was like, okay, we can only go up from here. And then we went further down. So this is probably going to be my last After update video. I wish the actors well, much success, happiness, less stress, good sex. This really could have been a lot better than it was. So if you're disappointed by this review, imagine how I feel giving you this review. Imagine how I felt watching it. They could have made the movie 2 hours and actually detailed the scenes out, and it would have been a little bit better. But no, they just want to slap stuff together and give it to us. Like, it was a half-done cake. It was gooey in the middle. No one wants a cake that's gooey in the middle. It's gross. You get sick. You get worms. Like,